Okay, last session we saw how to create user, create roles, and schema and privileges. Relate to create, how to see the list, how to drop them, and for privileges we saw how we can grant or revoke privileges. This section will go again all those basic setup with the PostgreSQL database. So let's first check the Postgres services. So all Postgres services are up. Now let's connect to the database session. If we see, so when first we create the Postgres database services, then we saw there are three databases. One is Postgres, which is default database to connect to it. Then there are two template. One is template 0 and another one is template 1. So template 0 is default, we cannot modify at all. And template 1 is in another database. It's a template database. When you run or execute create database command, it uses this template 0 database. So why template 0 in place? Because if something happen, like if template 1 is damaged or corrupted, then we can create template 1 um, database based on template 0 database. Now let's create a database. So you remember that create command is you can check anything with help and create database. So it will give you all the information. So simply we're going to create a database here. So create database demo tst. So we are going to create a demo database. We can define table space. If we don't define, then it will go to default table space. So we can define here table space pg underscore default. So here you see that the prompt that create database, that means database is created. Let's see that one. So you can see that demo tst database is here. Now if you would like to rename this database to something else, so what we can do, we can just create this command alter database name, that current database name, and we need to use this rename to key. So rename to the database we want. So demo rename dt. So that means database has been renamed. So let's see that one. So here you can see the database name has been changed. So now to connect to the specific database, what we need to do, we need to connect, give the database name, because if you see the connect info now, so that is one. So you can see it's connected to the default like Postgres database. Now if you would like to connect to this new database that we created, let's see, give the database name. So now it's connected to demo rndt database. Now if we want to drop this database, so drop database name. Because I am already connected there, so I have to connect to the Postgres database. And then so now if you go to the list of database, then you will see that database is not there anymore. And L is to get the more in details. You can get more information here, because if you see here that there is no size column or table space column, you can see if you put into plus sign here. So in this section, so far we have learned how to create a database. Then we rename this database to another name. After that, we uh, connect to specific database, then we drop the database. Next section will see table space level. Let's see the table space. So to get the list of table space which is currently in place, I need to do that is db. So it will give you the table space name. Here you see the two table spaces, which is pg default and pg global. So here you see that there are two default table space. So pg default table space is to store all users data, and pg global table space you use to store all the global data. Now to create a new table space, what we can do, we can create a directory under the under the main directory, which is this one, and then define a new table space. We can do that way. Otherwise it will go to the default, like all the table space will go to pg underscore default path, like if you don't define that one, and when you create any objects or any users, it goes into pg underscore default. So let's create a new table space. So what we can do, we can create a directory under somewhere like this called pg table space. So I create a directory there. Now connect to there, create table space. So create table space, demo table space, and then location, and here's the directory. So this is my directory. So table space has been created. Now if we check that one, so you can see that this is the pointing to that right path that we give that one. So we can create this table space, and when we create some users, we can define that table space as a default table space for that user. Again, what we can do, we can create a database and move into this table space. Let's try to see that one. So this is my database, create a test database demo db, and now if we type, if you look the demo table space here, it's pointing to pg default one. So now we move that database to our newly created table space. So let's do that one. So alter database name, table space, we are giving it to demo tsp. So here it's successful. Now let's see that one. So this database now pointing to this demo TSP table space. So now if I want to drop this table space, it will not allow me because there are some objects inside there. So we have to move back there. Let's see, drop table space. Table space is not empty, so it will not allow me to drop. So let's move that table space to database to default one before dropping this table space. So which is default, PG default. So it has been moved there. So now it will allow me to drop table space. So if you see, that table space is not there anymore. So far here we have learned how to create a new table space. Then we move our database to this newly created table space, and then we drop the table space. So next we will go through the tables and the relation. So let's start with that one. So we can create our table space, or we can use default one, it's fine. So let's create a table. Create table, DBA, give a column name, so it doesn't consider virtual. So table created. So here you see the table has been created. So let's see the table. You can use DT, or you can do DT plus to get more information. So this is the table you can see here. So plus is mainly to get more information here. Now insert some value there. Insert into this table. So now define the table, the table name. So you can get the table definition. So give the table name here. It's giving that information here. Select all from. So here I can see all the values here. Now drop the table, drop table. So table has been dropped. Now so there is no relation. That means table doesn't exist anymore. So we have learned here how to create a table, then see the definition of the table. Here we saw the relation, and then to get more information we use T plus sign. Then we are adding some values to the table. Then we see the describe the table. After that, we get the values, query the table here, and then we drop the table. And to get all the relation, you can type dt to get the list. But now for all of them, you can do asterisk dot asterisk so that you can see all the relation into this database level. So you can see there will be heaps. So exit from here. Now let's go through some more on other things like session. Normally users connect to database levels or system level, so we can just assign um, connection or revoke connections. Let's go through that one. This section I'll go through with Autoback process. Let's see, there is a database parameter called Autoback. We can see that one's um, Autoback. Wait, I have to reconnect my session. Okay, so Autoback. So I can see that by default Autoback job is on, and let's see few process relate to Autoback. I have to quit from this session. Here we can see that Autoback processes. What actually Autoback does, like Postgres database, to ensure the data consistency and accessible in high concurrency environment, it use multi-version concurrency control, which you know as MVCC as a short format. So when each database start the transaction, when transaction starts, it has own snapshot at the point in, like at the point in time when it began. So that outdated data cannot be deleted straight away. But what it does, it's marked as a dead row, and those dead rows must be cleaned up through a routine process. And this routine process to clean up all those dead rows is known as vacuuming. And when auto vacuum is configured, then we do not need to think about how and when to execute all those auto vacuum job. Whole process is automatically handled by the PostgreSQL databases. It's a good like vacuuming helps to optimize database performance. If you'd like to get more information, you can go to Postgres official document to get more in details. And here I'll go through the table level and give some idea how actually it works on. Let's connect to the database. Create a test table. Create table. BCTST. Give some data before. Oh, sorry. Table name is wrong. I have changed that one. So let's start with to like two columns, two rows actually, two rows values. So if I go there, now because by default auto vacuum is on, so it will run the vacuum job. Now if I would like to disable this one, what I have to do, I have to just modify that on alter table and set, there is a parameter called auto vacuum underscore enabled, enabled. So I'm making that false. So table has been altered. Let me check that one. Okay. So I can get that one. This table I know that pg class. Okay, let me check that one. Pg underscore class, I think. Pg underscore cnass. Yes, that we got. So select, we can options is there, select rel options from this table. Pg class where should name name. So here I see that for this particular table auto vacuum enabled is false, so this vacuum job will not run this one. But if we want to set into database level, we need to go to the configuration file, and there is a parameter called auto vacuum. We need to change that one. So let me show you that one. So if I go to, you know that this is database parameter files into the data directory, which is the main directory. So quit from here. See if I go there, if I get the config file and grep for auto vacuum. So this vacuum is, we need to change this to off. By default this is on, but if we would like to disable this one from the database level, we have to change this parameter to off. But if we change this parameter, then to reflect the change, we need to restart database. So let's see that job, modify that parameter. Hmm. To restart services.